Hello, and welcome to the Sacred Heart Shaman podcast, where we talk about spiritual healing, shamanic wisdom, and the challenges of walking the healer's path. Today is episode number 7, and we will be talking about sacred heart medicine, men, and love. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Today we are talking about love and sacred heart medicine. So, as you may or may not know, I run a nonprofit organization called Sacred Heart Medicine Sanctuary. It's where I work with shamanic training, teaching, healing on a community level. So, I offer free ceremonies and classes or donation based events to serve the community in a way that gives back and allows for a place where people who are on a similar path can meet one another. There's something pretty significant in the name of my organization, and now I do my private work as the Sacred Heart Shaman, and it has a bit of a backstory. So I want to share that with you all, um, and then go into a little bit more of the backstory. So I'm actually going to read a blog that I wrote some time ago. It's not very long, and then kind of elaborate on it. I'm choosing to read it because when I read it myself, I hear it in my own voice. I really like the words that I used, um, and it's significant in my story. So it was in meditation several years ago where I was speaking to my guides that I first received instruction to name my organization Sacred Heart Medicine Sanctuary. I was having trouble coming up with what to call myself or my work because at the time I had no real idea what I was doing here. I was experiencing a spiritual calling and it still wasn't exactly sure what was happening with it. I was just listening, showing up, and saying yes when my heart sang. Over the years, the meaning of this name has continued to blossom into a well of ancient knowledge and universal mystery. Not to be dramatic, but learning the medicine of the heart has been a profound roller coaster ride that I simply cannot get off of. I am in a constant state of higher learning because, in truth, the medicine of the heart is the thing that this world desperately needs right now. I believe it is the only vibration that can truly change the trajectory of our future as humans on this planet in a powerful way. So, what is medicine of the heart? I want to share a few stories about my experience with love in medicine work, and I have a few points to make with them. First, heart medicine is about loving deeply without expecting anything in return. It is about not having an attachment to or expectation of a person, place, or thing that you love. It's about the complete vulnerability of opening your heart and knowing that it could be crushed in return. Only from that place, from this true risk, can the full spectrum of love exist. To feel love deeply, you must be willing to feel pain just as deeply. So if you think you're leading your life with an open heart, ask yourself if you are indeed open enough to be absolutely annihilated, as much as you are open to being deeply and profoundly loved. Are you open to being crushed as much as being blissed out? Do you or can you experience ecstatic joy as much as you can experience life-altering sorrow? Understanding and experiencing heart medicine means having it all and holding it all at once. So, in shamanic practice, a big aspect of my work is working with plant spirits. I do this to bring healing to my community and to understand deeper knowledge of how the world works. Plants have all the secrets and all the information we need in order to heal and survive here on Earth. It is us who choose not to be still long enough to listen and learn from them. About 4 years ago, I was conducting a plant diet from a plant known for its heart medicine. When I conduct a plant diet, it requires me to ingest a specific plant for a designated amount of times per day, sometimes in combination with a strict diet, in order to learn from the plant. During this time, they will teach me what they can and sometimes transmit their healing abilities to me so I can conduct healing on clients. Each plant is different, but all have similar ways in which they work. The plant realm is very specific in its rules of engagement, and one of my favorite books on this topic is Spirit Plant Medicine by Elliot Colwin. In this case, I had been working with this particular plant for about 2 months before the big opening happened. Every time I touched in with the plant spirit, I was told not to stop the diet, even though I felt like nothing was happening. My silly human brain is hilarious. Plant medicine takes time to unfold, to breathe, and to integrate for us. It works on many dimensions, and the 3D is rarely one of them. In this case, I proceeded with the diet, and I had a private ceremony coming up on my schedule that was very significant to me. During this ceremony, the person I was working with confessed to me they committed an act that many individuals would feel unthinkable and unforgivable. It was in this moment of confession that my heart completely exploded for him. I felt deep empathy, love, understanding, and full unconditional acceptance for him and what he had done. There was no judgment in my heart, only love at a depth I didn't think was possible. We remained in that space of deep love for the rest of our time together. And then about a year later, I felt this person's spirit cross over. They stopped by on their way out to tell and show me that love had helped them unburden and stop holding on. So it's no secret that I love men. I love working with men. I love putting my hands on men for healing purposes, obviously. I love watching their inner child be seen for the first time in decades and the joy that is brought to their faces. I feel that one of my greatest gifts is the ability to open a man's heart, and I do this through the expression of pure unconditional love. When I meet a man with a closed heart, my job is to see him, to love him, and to authentically expect nothing from him in return. He resonates with my love, and his heart is revealed in the process. It requires from me a constant process of checking myself. What inner masculine aspects do I still need to heal? What do I still harbor against my father? What am I looking for in a mate that I'm unwilling to look for in myself? This work goes deep for me as a facilitator, but it is one that brings me the most joy. In our culture, there is so much expected from men. They're expected to support without question and often need to sacrifice themselves to do so. They are not allowed to be soft, emotional, silly, or playful. When they are stripped of their masculinity and their strength. When they are boys, they are not allowed to be feminine because God forbid the world see a boy with these qualities. So then they grow up and we end up with men who have closed hearts, who don't know how to connect other than through the socially acceptable form of sex. They in return expect equally zipped up women, petite, beautiful, soft maiden energy, and are not able to go any deeper due to the bottled rage that covers all the other painful feelings. This, of course, isn't all men, and this is only the surface of the big picture, right? But I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. The key to healing the men of our world is through unconditional love and acceptance of their full state of being, their wholeness, including their soft and silly qualities, their wildness, their unbridled emotion. We cannot love them to get something from them. We need to love them because this is the thing that they have been denied and also the thing that they deserve most. So I don't think we realize how common it is for our love to have conditions or expectations attached. Of course, this is different than saying, I'll be married to you and we agree to hold the boundaries of our relationship that include monogamy. That's a whole other conversation about containers of marriage and agreements around engaging with another person. However, let's look at some of the places where conditional love does exist. These are just examples, they are not accusations or assumptions. In a relationship, we can expect that a person love us a certain way in order for us to feel loved. We expect them to be emotionally available to the degree we want them to be. We expect them to manage their own emotions in a certain way. We expect them to be a real man or a dutiful wife based on beliefs that are often unconscious. We are attached to them, choosing us at the end of the day. If they don't do what makes us feel good, we may withdraw our love from them. We may shut down our own hearts long before it even gets to that point because we know just how painful it will be when it finally happens. Romantic relationships is the place where most of our childhood wounding is revealed. When relationships, romantic or platonic, no longer serve us, do we love them enough to let them go? Do we allow ourselves to go into grief, or do we hang on for more deep fear of the pain that is associated with that death? Again, pay attention to the fear that prevents us from living fully, loving fully, and completely. Love means letting go. In parenting, we may love our children but have expectations about how they must act, learn, exist, emote, or explore the world around them. We mold them with clothing, food, emotional response, screen time, socialization, etc., based on what we want them to be, consciously or unconsciously. And this can also mean making them go countercultural if we have a problem with the current way that people are feeding or socializing their children. This often happens without really observing them to see what they like and who they are without our personal influence. In society, I ask you to make note of who we love and hate: celebrities, politicians, do-gooders of the world, the Mother Teresas, how do we feel about the homeless, the ones who commit violence, about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump? The answer to this question, the fact that we even have to ask it, says a lot about the collective lack of ability for us to be truly vulnerable in our heart spaces. It says a lot about our collective shadow, the reason or thing that needs to be healed in order to understand why our hearts are so closed. People must behave or live in a way deemed acceptable in order for us to feel love for them. I invite you to ponder how tender and vulnerable love would feel for you if you released these expectations, hopes, and attachments. Do you feel the edge of where you could be crushed? If we released the conditions and allowed ourselves to feel deeply without ever needing anything in return, what would happen? This is where we meet the medicine of the heart. Once you have dipped your toes, Once you have dipped your tender heart into the medicine realm, it has the potential to be taken to a deeper level. A new doorway may open at this intersection to expand the dimensions of what's possible for you. So, in my work, I work with love as medicine. It means working with it in that unlimited, non-linear space where medicine exists, where there are no rules except those prescribed by the mystery of the universe. When I work with a person, I love them as if they are my child, my partner, my brother or sister, and the love of my life, all rolled into one. I see who they are, who they were, and who they will be. I see the things they never got to do, the demons they carry from the things they have done, and the shame that burdens them from the things that they have said. And I love every corner of them fully and completely. I love them unconditionally. When I don't or can't love them, I know this is a space where I must look deeper within myself. Why am I judging this person? Why is my heart not able to open fully to them? This is the signpost that points me to the next healing path for myself. This is something that medicine does not allow me to skim over. She makes me face the things over and over again to deepen my integrity as a medicine woman and to deepen my availability for love. With every client, in every ceremony, every person I touch, I see the possibility of what love can do. Love can open locked doors that have been rusted shut. It can transmute density created over 10 lifetimes. Love can heal illness spontaneously without sending it to attach to someone else. It can bring down 1,000 walls created through the hardest of lifetimes. My favorite part about love is its ability to light up the heart of a person who receives it. And if even just 1% of the people on this planet had their hearts awakened fully and they led from that space, the world would be a very different place. As with many things I do as a medicine woman, this ability to carry love as medicine is both a gift and a grief. I don't say this in a martyr sort of way, but to address the concept of sacrifice in a healthy way as it pertains to my path. This is a sacrifice that is required to come to such an understanding of love and to carry it with pure intent. Personally, I sometimes feel it to be a heavy price. For me to carry love as medicine, I am constantly being asked to open my heart further so I may remain in an open and clear channel for this energy. I am often asked to maintain a one-way flow of pure, open-hearted love while also accepting that I will get nothing in return. I'm required to put my heart on the table, knowing that someone can come down with a hammer immediately and break it. I'm asked to love myself with the same intensity, despite a lifetime of being told and treated like I am unlovable. The amount of vulnerability and ongoing childhood trauma work makes me want to cry just thinking about it. So, for example, when I wrote this blog, I was in the process of building a friendship with someone who was here to expand my heart further. Every time I interacted with this person, I felt so safe to express my heart that I would wake up the next day feeling raw, ashamed, and super cringy. This is the vulnerability hangover in action, a sign that wounds have been exposed for healing. I have revealed my heart, and when it's allowed the space to be witnessed with non-judgment, it clears out more layers of shame and hiding. After this process, my chest often hurts, and I feel a small amount of energy returning to my body. When I am around this person, a steady stream of ecstatic joy and profound love flows through my body, and I feel like I have eaten a handful of mushrooms. It's absolutely wild. So, what's the sacrifice here? It's unrequited love, which means I must continue to show up, bare my heart, and know that it will never be returned in the way that I could hope. This is, for whatever reason, part of my heart healing process. I don't do it because it's fun. I do it because I'm being asked to expand my heart once again so I can bring that to the people who work with me, so I can bring it to the world. Working with the medicine of the heart, the medicine of love, means really experiencing the full spectrum of love and everything that comes with it. It means to love fully and to lose fully. It means to grieve, to break open over and over and over, to give without getting. It's a place of great bliss and great joy, but also of great pain. So, I'm sharing this message with you today because I've learned over the years that whatever it is I'm going through is also something that a lot of other people are going through. And right now, love is coming up real hard, real strong, and real persistently. And the only thing I really want to say about that is to emphasize the importance of putting your heart out there, the importance of being vulnerable, the importance of sharing your love, no matter what the risk is involved, right? So, whether it's your love for someone, your love for a thing, your love for a place, allowing yourself to feel it, allowing yourself to express it, allowing yourself to be seen in it, because I guarantee that the downside of expressing it is way smaller than you think. That the risk of not expressing it is way more significant than you think. And that the worst thing that can happen is that you have some bad feelings or emotions about it. Um, but that will pass. It always passes. I recently revealed myself to someone in the most insanely vulnerable way and really put myself in a position to be told that I was crazy or that I was making stuff up or that I was too much or too big. And, as a medicine person, psychic healer, shaman, whatever the word, yeah, my stuff is intense and it's big and it's weird. And afterwards, I had a lot of not shame, but like vulnerability. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna vomit because I have revealed myself for, someone to take a stab at me. And I sat down and I wrote a pro con list. Like, here's the pro list of me saying what I need to say, and here's the con list. And I was absolutely floored by the responses that I wrote down. Like the potential negative outcome of me sharing this, like, didn't even matter. Like, who cares if I feel embarrassed? Who cares if I get rejected? Like, no big deal. Because the pro list was insane, right? The amount of courage that it takes to share myself, to reveal myself, the potential of not being rejected, the potential to have love that's so deep and profound because I spoke up and said, hey, here's what I'm experiencing. Here's what's happening for me. Like, do you see me? Does this resonate? The difference in those two lists was just, it was completely unexpectedly ridiculous. And I encourage you to do the same. If there are things that need to be said or things that need to be done and you're getting caught in your head about it, do it. Because love is everything. Love is the only thing. Thank you for listening with me today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you next time. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to know more about me and my work, you can find me at www.sacredheartshaman.com.